Human Rights Watcher. That's a nice handle. Human Rights Watcher at Queer a la Mode. At Queer a la Mode. These are two very creative handles. On April 1st, AOC did a live stream with Michael Miller. He's the head of the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York. She was asked about peace between Israelis and Palestinians. Her response was incredibly underwhelming, to say the very least. Well, here we go. Human Rights Watcher. Who's watching the watchdog?
Watch it.
Watch it. Here we go. Ready?
What actions do you think can be taken to support movements towards peace, both between Israelis and Palestinians, as well as within the entire region, such as the Abraham Accords?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, earlier just now, you and I were talking about the what and the how.
Yes.
And I think that when we talk about establishing peace, centering people's humanities, protecting people's rights, it's not just about the what and the end goal, which often gets a lot of focus. But I actually think it's much more about the how and the way that we are coming together and how we interpret that what and how we act in the actions that we take to get to that what. And so what this really is about is that it's a question more than anything.
Get to this what? What? How about this what? Huh? How do we get to huh? How do we get to what the fuck? It's not about the what. It's about how we get to what the fuck. Here it goes more.
It's about process. And so we really need to make sure that that we are valuing a process where all parties are respected and have, a lot of equal opportunity to really make sure that we are negotiating good faith, et cetera. That being said, I think that there's just this one central issue of settlements, because if the what that has been decided on is two state, then the action of settlements it's not the how to get to that what. And so, I think that's a central thing that we need to make sure that.
But what about who? Second base. I don't know. Throw it to home. What the who? How, now. I couldn't follow that at all because there's a little bit more of this. Hang on.
We center and that we value Jewish and rather we value Israeli. We value the safety and the human rights of Israelis. We value the safety and the human rights of Palestinians in that process that is similar and that on equal footing. And so all of that is extremely important in that process. And
okay, that's where this clip ends. Because I think they can only post 2 minutes or so on Twitter. I'm sure it got worse. Any comment from my guests on this video clip besides laughter?
Well, I understand the whole thing. I don't know. I don't know why everyone's confused. I can break it down. I mean, what we're talking about here is getting to the what along with the how. The key to getting to the what and the how is through the Who, rock and roll band from England, Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey, John Entwistle, Keith Moon. Brilliant rhythm section, by the way. One of the best. Rest in power to both of them. My buddy Ed saw The Who when he was 14 years old, went on to be a professional musician, still touring. When bands that open for him say, hey, what'd you think of our band? He just says, I didn't get to see your band, but I saw The Who when I was 14 years old. Now, I saw The Who when I was 19 years old. So they were at the ripe young age.
How did you get to The Who?
Jimmy, I'm explaining the how. You're jumping ahead.
Oh, sorry.
But I saw The Who. I was 19. I think they were the ripe young age of 85. And then that's how you get to the why and how. And I hope things with Israel-Palestine work out.
Oh, I heard it a little different. So you got the what and the how, but you get it there through The Who. But the why, right? And
I shit the bed on the why.
Yeah, the
really
Y is where I used to bump into Mark Maron when I first moved to Hollywood. We used to go work out at the Y, and then that's how you get to the who and the what. And that's how you get to the WTF, by the way.
There we go.
So it all comes back around.
So I think both our mind maps nailed it, man. We got this.
Yeah.
My mind went to a song by the rapper Noriega called Super Thug. And the chorus is just him going, what? And I would love to see someone it'd be perfect, do like a remix with that beat, which is a great beat, with AOC saying, getting to the what. It would work great. No, honestly, wouldn't it be just so much more honest if she said, you know what, I haven't really thought about it. I don't know. That's okay if you don't have an answer to something. But instead to try to come up with this convoluted, meaningless answer, it's so embarrassing for everybody involved. It's hard to listen to. Well, why not just say, I don't know.
So that's her game, though. That's her flex, is to act like she has some insight that you never heard about. Like, there's an Easter egg inside the bill. There's a thing. There's a it's always got some insight, and it's always not. It's like, oh, they don't want to have the conversation about the border. They don't want to have that conversation. It's always like she's got something else going on that you never thought of. Oh, it's a different conversation. It's about imperialism. It's about foreign pod. Even know what? Why were you saying this for the last 4 years under Donald Trump? It's about imperialism and foreign policy. I didn't know that, but now she's going. Now it's about the who and the what and the this and how to get. And you're like, whoa, she sounds really smart. I bet she knows what she's talking about. She's just fucking bullshitting. That's all she's doing.
Let me read you a tweet from Ali Abunimah, who's the founder of the Electronic Intifada, a great website. He said, I'm incredibly impressed with AOC's Obama-like ability to fill large amounts of time with words while saying absolutely nothing. It's the Obama playbook. He's speaking in this lofty rhetoric where you think he's saying something inspiring, but he's saying absolutely nothing. And that is really what the Democratic Party has become now, making you think that they're woke and they're righteous while doing absolutely nothing. And even someone who was supposed to be the antithesis to all that, the challenge to that establishment, is now totally embodying it on what really is a simple issue. Either you're for apartheid or you're not. There was a long time when you couldn't speak publicly about Palestinian rights. When Hillary Clinton was first lady, she voiced some mild support for a two-state solution, having a Palestinian state. Even in the late 90s, early 2000s, you couldn't even say that politically in the U.S. At this point, though, it's 2021, and everyone knows the reality. You can't hide it anymore. It's an apartheid state there. Israel has been occupying Palestinians for decades illegally. The Gaza Strip is an open-air prison, deliberately as a result of U.S. policy. And if you're on the left in the Democratic Party, you're supposed to be anti-establishment and a difference from everybody else in the Democratic Party. You can't bring yourself to just speak honestly about it. It just speaks to how right-wing this party is, where even someone who's supposed to be on the far left can say absolutely nothing about such a simple issue of injustice. It's pathetic.
Well, here's Human Rights Watch Watcher actually makes the point. He said, words AOC used, what and how. Words AOC didn't use, occupation, apartheid, colonization, and genocide. So that's why she wanted to go what and how, so she didn't have to say occupation, settlements, colonization, genocide. She didn't have to say any of that. Here's another
Everybody, I got some bad news here, but I just realized this. We totally forgot the where. We didn't do that part. So, Mike, you got to fix this in post.
Oh,
we got one shot to get this right, Jimmy.
He's supposed to fix this, but when?
Oh, man.
I mean, how do you get to when? It's the what, when, who, what, when, where, why.
And then when you capture all that, the why escapes.
That's
to the why.
To the why. Oh. She literally said nothing at all while making it seem like she was saying something, a true politician. This is very easy issue for a leftist. Why is AOC struggling? Israel is an apartheid state that should be defunded. The U.S. deploy human resources to reach peace in the Middle East. The United States to deploy human resources to reach peace in the Middle East. I don't get this. I don't get this one. I don't know why this is in here. The U.S. to deploy human resources. I don't understand this tweet. But anyway, we were on a roll until that one. I should have went over that before the show. I didn't. I was so excited about the video. All right.
I think they're saying like she's using human like HR talk to try to resolve the Israel-Palestine issue.
Okay, now it makes sense because I'm so divorced from human resources shit. They got human resource shit over at the Young Turks right before I left, and they would send me emails, and I would never return any of them. They're like, "Hey, you have to sign this thing admitting that you fucking committed an infraction," and I'm like, "I'm not fucking admitting I committed anything. I didn't commit anything." Fuck, human resources. What the F? Can you imagine you start an independent news show, you end up with a human resources fucking? Jesus Christ. Could you be more of the thing you're supposed to be the antidote to? God damn it. All right, anyway, that's the end of that. Any more things to say about AOC's who, what, when, where, why, how?
Well, I want to say that it speaks to such a deficit on the establishment left right now, which is that you can advocate on Twitter for Medicare for all and a higher minimum wage. Not do anything about it, of course. We saw that with forced to vote. They wouldn't do that. But at least you can talk about it. But on foreign policy, you can be a socialist at home, but on foreign policy, you have to be a chauvinist. You have to still uphold the bipartisan foreign policy consensus. And why? It's because we live in an empire that has hundreds of military bases around the world. And the message is hammered into our heads through our propaganda system. You cannot contest that. It's our manifest destiny. We deserve to police the world. And the saddest part about all this is AOC's purported agenda of Medicare for all, which she says that she supports, and a higher minimum wage. It could be bolstered if we weren't spending so much money on military bases and giving Israel, for example, billions of dollars a year to cage Palestinians. But they never make this connection. Sometimes Bernie talks about trimming back the military budget, and that's great. But they could make this a huge issue if they wanted to. Why are we sending Israel $3 billion a year to buy our own weapons and to cage Palestinians? No one will ever do that. There's a couple of people in Congress who occasionally will raise it, but they won't do it. And that's because they don't have the courage and the integrity to stand up for human rights, whether not just inside this own country, but everywhere around the world, even when doing so would help their own causes at home.
The irony is, Aaron, that while we give billions of dollars to Israel to continue doing their occupation and to buy our weapons, they have Medicare for all and we don't.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Just keep that in mind. Israel gives Medicare for all to their citizens. We give them aid. We don't have Medicare for all. How are we going to afford Medicare for all? I don't know. Maybe we stop giving the world aid to go fucking commit genocides. How about that? Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.